Hello and welcome to PMF IAS Magnum series. I'm Akshay Vrat and I'm continuing with the lecture on science and technology where we were discussing the current affairs from 7th of June till 23rd of June. Yesterday we had the part A of the discussion where we discussed a significant number of current affairs. Today we'll continue with that topic and hopefully we'll be completing it soon so that you can start or you can have the next subject to be covered with by Navid sir. So let's continue from there. So these are the 6 topics that were left in that discussion. Let's quickly finish these 6 topics as well. The first topic of discussion is Achal fast patrol vessel, Achal FPV. It is the latest entry of a fast patrolling vessel in the Indian Coast Guard, and it has been indigenously developed. We'll see what are the features of this particular vessel and what are its unique achievements as well. Then we'll talk about the Rudrastra drone. It is a new drone which is capable of taking vertical takeoff and landing, and what are its other salient features. We'll talk about these salient features as well. Then you must have heard of the Fattah missile. This was the missile that was launched by Iran on Israel, and you guys know that it's a hypersonic ballistic missile. Again, what are its salient features, we'll see. So there are typically 3 topics that are related to defense technology. UPSC have a keen interest of asking questions in defense technology, especially in those defense areas which have been indigenously developed by Indian scientists or which are Indian achievements in the area of defense technology. Then we'll talk about the next topic. Scientists find universe's missing matter. This is basically related to fast radio burst emissions that we observe across the galaxy and how it can be related with the missing. Basically, we have 2 types of matter, ordinary and dark matter. We'll see what is the difference between the two and how the fast radio burst or FRBs have been able to help us. Then Gwada is basically the new blood group that has been discovered in France, and this has added into the list of many more blood groups that have been found across the world. We are generally aware of A, B and O blood group, but remember, besides these blood groups, there are a good number of other blood groups also, and I think the number is somewhere around 48, and Gwada has been one of the new type of blood groups among humans. And then we have the Lenacapavir. This is basically the new medicine approved by the US FDA, which is considered as a preventive drug for the spread of HIV virus. We'll discuss what is the difference between HIV and AIDS and how HIV evolves into AIDS. We'll talk about it, and then you will be able to understand the importance of Lenacapavir. Right? So let's start with the first topic. The first topic of discussion is Achal, fast patrolling vessel. So Achal FPV, the fast patrolling vessel, it is the 5th FPV that has been inducted under the Adamya class of FPVs. This is basically a class of indigenously built fast patrolling vessels. These vessels are very important in coastal protection of the country. It is important for coastal policing, and they can also prevent any kind of illegal activities which involves illegal immigrants, which involves mining, which involves smuggling. All these things are extensively required for Coast Guard protection, and FPVs are particularly used for it. When you talk about the spread of the coast of the country, you guys already know that from the shoreline up to 12 nautical miles, we have something called the territorial waters. These waters are legal part of the countries. So if you talk about Indian coast, from both east and western coast, 12 nautical mile is part of the territorial waters of India. That means these waters, if anything happens, if any crime also happens in this part of the waters, it will be under the Indian legal protection, or Indian constitution, Indian law will prevail. But the moment when you cross the 12 nautical mile distance and you move into up to 200 nautical miles, then you have something called the exclusive economic zone. Exclusive economic zone is that area where a country has an exclusive right of conducting economic activities. You have an exclusive right of conducting economic activities, but you do not have your laws applied here. You are basically having the control of performing economic activities, but you cannot stop other international ships maneuvering in this region. So this is important that you have to understand the difference here. But exclusive economic zones are important in protecting your economic interest of the waters, right? So this is the Achal fast patrol vessel. It is the 5th fast patrol vessel of the Indian Coast Guard. It is the 5th of the 8 Adamya class, like I said, of indigenous fast patrol vessels. It has also been certified by dual countries. One is the American Bureau of Shipping and the Indian Register of Shipping. It means that this Achal FPV has been built in up to the standards of both America and India. I hope all of you guys are able to understand. Then next what we have is, it is an indigenously built. 60% of the components of Achal fast FPV are indigenously manufactured. Its length is around 52 meters and 8 meters in width. So not a very large ship compared to the naval ships, but you can understand it is a patrolling vessel. It has to be maneuvered very fast. It can achieve a maximum speed up to 27 knots. And the operational range, once it is fully filled with all the fuel and crew members, it can operate up to 1500 nautical miles at a speed of 14 knots. The main armaments, now we don't have very large armaments deployed in the Coast Guard ship. This particular ship is basically equipped with a CRN 91 30mm naval gun. It's basically an indigenously made artillery gun which is mounted on a naval ship, and it is basically meant for short distance targeting, right? And then lastly, its primary role, like I said, it is meant for patrolling the exclusive economic zone. It is meant for conducting anti-smuggling, anti-piracy, and also performing all due surveillance of the region. So this is basically the important areas where Achal is going to be deployed for. So this is everything that is need to be considered for preparation of UPSC. This much is enough. Moving on to the next topic, Rudrastra. Now Rudrastra is an interesting drone that has been recently, its trials have started recently, and it is a vertical takeoff and landing drone of it has been developed in collaboration with the Indian Army. So let's see. So guys, what type of drone it is? It is basically a hybrid vertical takeoff and landing, VTOL. VTOL stands for vertical takeoff and landing. What does it mean? It means that if you make a drone which is VTOL, it is basically a drone that could do a vertical lift. It can have a vertical lift, and it can also go vertical up and down. So vertical takeoff, vertical landing. And guys, why it is called the hybrid drone? Because it is not only capable of doing vertical up landing and landing and takeoff, but because of its fixed wings. The wings are fixed wings. Because of the fixed wings. Achha, by the way guys, this drone image that you see, it is only for reference. This drone image is only for reference, guys. It is not the actual image. It is only for reference. Okay, so this can perform vertical takeoff and landing, and is also having fixed wings which enables this to maneuver horizontally in the air. So this is a highly capable drone that has been developed in collaboration with the Indian Army. Look at this. So let's see, it's a hybrid vertical takeoff and landing unmanned aerial vehicle with autonomous strike capability. So it can strike on the enemy autonomously. It combines both rotary lift and takeoff. That is what I'm talking about. It can take off up and down like this. And at the same time, it is also having a fixed wing flight, which gives it an extended range deep into the enemies, deep beyond the enemies or into the enemy's territory. It is developed by Solar Defense and Aerospace Limited in collaboration with the Indian Army. So it has been developed by a private organization. Its range and endurance has been found to be up to 50 kilometers from your location, which gives the total range up to 170 kilometers, and it can endure, it can remain it can remain in flight for up to 1.5 hours. So during an actual combat, it can remain suspended in the air for 1.5 hours. The warhead capability of this drone is basically it carries an 8 kilogram. It carries an 8 kilogram ammunition, air burst ammunition, which has a wide area anti-personnel use. So it is meant for pinpointing a target, but the warhead capacity is just 8 kilograms. So it is not supposed to be hitting a very far off distance, right? So this is basically what the Rudrastra is capable of. I think this much of information should be good enough. Let's see if I have put some other points. So its targeting uses GPS and onboard sensors for accurate strike delivery. Of course, using GPS improves your strike delivery, your accuracy of hitting a target, and its autonomous functions. It can autonomously perform few things. First is it can execute loiter. Loiter is basically simply standing. So it can simply remain standing. In the air, can remain suspended, can remain there, wait for its next command. It can do that autonomously. It can strike autonomously and even return without the manual input, return to the base without any manual input. All these three things are autonomously delivered by Rudrastra. So this makes Rudrastra a highly capable drone. Remember guys, it is not the first drone used in defense or have been indigenously made in India. You guys already have heard of Rustam, which is a combat drone. Very recently Ghatak, which is a stealth drone. Then before that we have also heard of Nishant. We have heard of Netra and other drones also like Nishant, Netra and Laksh. These are the popular drones, unmanned aerial vehicles that have been used by the Indian Armed Forces previously as well. Then guys comes the Fattah missile. Now this Fattah missile has been popular in the news because the Iranians used Fattah missile in their strike on Israel, and you guys understand, right after this particular strike we heard that America has also joined in, right? So when you talk about the Fattah missile, what is it? It is a hypersonic missile. What is the meaning of hypersonic? So guys, hypersonic basically means any vehicle which is capable of moving at a speed 5 times faster than the speed of sound. So we often use the word Mach number. Mach number is basically nothing but the ratio of an object with the speed of sound, right? So it is nothing but the ratio of speed of an object with that of speed of sound. The speed of sound at 0 degrees Celsius, which is 332 meters per second. This is what is the speed of sound. So whenever an object goes beyond the speed of sound, we often call this as going beyond 1 Mach speed, right? If you can understand the ratio, you'll be able to get it. So when the Mach number exceeds 5, we call that speed as hypersonic. That literally means that the object is flying at a speed 5 times greater than the speed of sound. So we normally identify it like this. Mach number equals to 1 means sonic speed. Sonic speed basically means that the speed of the object is equal to the speed of sound, right? That means an object is capable of touching the speed. Then if the Mach number is greater than 1, we call it supersonic, where the object is able to fly faster than the speed of sound. And when the Mach number is greater than 5, we call it hypersonic, where an object can fly faster than 5 times of the speed of sound. Faster than 5 times. So this is called hypersonic. So this is a hypersonic missile. I hope you understand it can fly 5 times greater than the speed of sound. A very capable missile, because high speed gives you a very quick strike rate on the enemy. And secondly, high speed missiles are very difficult to be detected, even if you consider a very capable Iron Dome system of Israel, right? So let's see. So Fattah means conqueror in Persian. It is Iran's first indigenously developed hypersonic ballistic missile. So hypersonic, you understood that it is capable of flying at a speed faster than 5 times of the speed of sound. What is the meaning of ballistic? Ballistic basically talks about its trajectory. So ballistic basically means when an object has a parabolic trajectory. A parabolic trajectory basically means the missile goes out of the Earth's atmosphere and can even re-enter back into the Earth's atmosphere and then strike any location on Earth. This ballistic missiles gives a clear indication that they can go to a much farther distance, and taking assistance from the Earth's own gravity can even accelerate to a very high speed. Like the Fattah missile, it can actually touch a speed up to 13 to 15 Mach. That means 13 to 15 times faster than the speed of sound. I hope you are able to understand how fast it is. Then guys, its range is up to 1400 kilometers. So technically this is within the range from Iran to Israel. And then the propellant that they use, they mostly use a solid fuel propellant. Solid fuel propellant gives you a much faster and much quick burning. One more advantage of solid fuel is that solid fuel propellant normally do not undergo any kind of explosions, do not undergo any misfires. It is a very programmed and a very capable or a very programmed way of burning it delivers, and it gives you a kind of an assurance that once it starts burning, it will burn completely until the payload reaches the desired location. So that's an advantage. So it's not only easy to burn but also gives you more reliability. The warheads that are used, they can carry both conventional as well as nuclear warheads, but we all understand that Iran has not used any nuclear warheads as of now. The maneuverability is it can re-enter. So like I said, when you talk about the ballistic missiles are those missiles which are capable of going out of the Earth's atmosphere and can re-enter back into the Earth's atmosphere. This is a ballistic missile. So when it is re-entering, it can even change its flight, giving it a more precise target. It can even change its flight. So that's the advantage of a ballistic missile. So these are the features of Fattah missile. If UPSC would ask a question, there is a less chance that they would ask the technicalities, but yes, you should at least know Fattah missile. It was in news against because Iran has used it against Israel. Now next topic of our discussion, it is scientist finds the universe's missing matter. Now what exactly is this? So guys, basically what the scientists have discovered, there is a discovery, or there is an event that we keep discovering on and off. If you ever read any readings, if you ever look for any readings or any findings of space of any telescopes or large radio telescopes of Earth, you will often hear FRBs, fast radio burst. Now we still do not know what creates these fast radio bursts, but fast radio bursts are basically, these are large amounts of radio wave explosion. These are large amounts of explosion that burst out a huge amount of radio waves, and they are being released from different parts of the galaxy, different parts of the universe. And guys, the various radio telescopes that we have on Earth, they keep discovering them, right? They keep discovering them. In fact, one of the biggest telescopes, FAST, which is in China, it is typically meant for receiving the fast radio burst only, right? So these are the radio signals, or not signals but radio waves that we receive from all across the universe, all across the galaxies. Now scientists have been receiving a lot of these FRBs. We still do not know the reason why they are emitted, from where are they emitted, we are not sure, but we know that they are being emitted from different areas of the galaxy, of the universe. So what scientists did, scientists basically studied, I think the data was given. So FRBs are brief powerful bursts of radio waves, like I said, originating from distant galaxies, lasting milliseconds to a few seconds. So they just burst out a strong release of radio waves, and then it vanishes, it disappears. So we keep observing a lot of these FRBs, right? They are likely emitted by high magnetized neutron stars or even from extreme cosmic events. So they are believed to be emitted from high energy stars. We call them neutron stars, black holes. These are high energy stars. Neutron stars are somewhat bigger than the black holes. Black holes are basically the ones which are called singularity. So neutron stars are supposed to be highly energized, highly magnetized dying stars, or core of the star. They may be emitting it, but it is just a belief that they may be emitting from there. As they travel across cosmos, as they travel across the universe, these FRB interacts with all the matter. These FRBs, they interact with everything. So guys, when you look at the night sky, you may be seeing the night sky having stars, but in between multiple stars, there is complete darkness. Now imagine if FRBs are being thrown from here and there across this space, and we receive those as FRBs and study them, then all those empty spaces which are normally not visible to us, they may be studied through these FRBs that we are receiving every moment, right? So FRBs are electromagnetic in nature. Of course, these are radio waves, so they are electromagnetic radiations, and can be detected by specialized radio telescopes. There are already built big telescopes that are there which are capable of detecting them. So FRB acted as our cosmic flashlights. They acted as our cosmic flashlights, which could easily help us to see things which were otherwise not possible for us to see. So scientists tracked down nearly 69 FRBs. They tracked down nearly 69 FRBs where the researcher traced all these traced all that matter which earlier was not visible to us, which earlier we couldn't see, with the help of FRBs. I hope you're able to understand. So basically what happens, as these high energy radio waves, they pass through different matter, the way they interact with that matter, sometimes the matter disperses them into, bends them into different directions. Whatever interactions occur, we try to study all those interactions and find out what could be the missing pieces in the entire universe. Now let me tell you what I'm trying to explain when I say missing pieces and what is that missing matter. Guys, when we talk about matter, we all know that if I ask you the definition of matter, we all know that matter refers to something that has mass and occupies space. Something that has its own mass and occupies space. Like I am a part of matter, you are a part of matter, all these things around me, the screen is a part of matter, this camera is a part of matter, everything around us is an example of matter. So anything that has mass and mass and volume, we call it matter. Now guys, when you talk about matter in our universe, we often feel ourselves as handicapped because there is a certain type of matter which we have not been able to discover and understand yet, and that's called dark matter. So normally when we talk about the universe's distribution of matter, we normally call it ordinary matter and dark matter. The ordinary matter includes everything that we see. Stars, galaxies, whatever we are able to see in the universe, like we all are, planets, everything that we see, they all are part of the ordinary matter. This ordinary matter, in science, we may also call it baryonic matter. Right? It is basically named after a particle called baryons, because baryons are the particles that includes protons and neutrons. So every substance that has a nucleus contains protons and neutrons, so we often call it as baryonic matter. That's the ordinary matter. The other part of the universe, which is dark matter, majority of the universe is actually dark matter, guys. If you talk about majority of the matter, it is dark matter, and this is where it has been struggling. We have been struggling all the way to study dark matter. We have only predicted dark matter through mathematical experiments, but we have not been able to discover one. The problem with dark matter is that it behaves like a normal matter, like it has mass, it has volume, it responds to gravity, but it does not interact with electromagnetic radiations. It does not interact with light, it does not reflect any light, it does not refract light, it does not interact with light at all. Or not just light, it does not interact with any of these radiations in the solar spectrum, from radio waves to gamma rays. That makes it very difficult. But yes, because they have gravity, so gravity causes a certain depressions, gravity causes a certain changes in the overall universe, that we can study the behavior of gravity around these dark matter, and that can help us to identify where all this dark matter may be spread out. Right? I'll be discussing this part in the class discussion quite extensively. Maybe this is not the right platform where I can talk everything about dark matter, relativity and all these things, right? So you just have to remember here that scientists were able to find some good evidence of the missing matter, the missing pieces of the universe, that includes the dark matter and also some complex baryonic matter as well, through the help of FRBs. So what UPSC can ask here is FRB, and they can also ask if India has the capability of discovering FRB. So guys, we have a radio, we have got a giant meter wave, GMRT, radio telescope, which is capable of discovering some kind of radio waves, but not FRBs. But we have discovered FRBs also before. So there are a lot of countries which have the capabilities of studying them, but this is not our own study, this is not India's study. So you just have to remember that there is an event called FRB which has now been used. It is a very rare event, and now it has been used for studying or discovery of the other kinds of matter. So look at this, what does it say? As the radio waves disperse into multiple wavelengths, the scientists measured the degree of dispersion to estimate the matter density. That's how they use the FRB radio waves. By tracking all 69 FRBs, scientists traced the missing baryonic matter up to 9.1 billion light years away, right? So they have been able to see a lot of extent of the universe. How? Because we often consider that the universe is, the observable universe is very wide, often considered to be 93 billion light years big, but our ability of seeing the farthest has been limited. So with this particular experiment, we have been able to see some of those missing baryonic, the ordinary matter, by up to 9.1 billion light years away. This is the unit of distance, guys. Light year is a unit of distance. This method provided the first direct evidence of where the universe's missing ordinary matter resides. What is dark matter, guys? Like I said, dark matter is something which weakly interacts, and it is a majority. It is spread out in the majority of the universe. So dark matter is something which forms nearly 85% of all the matter in the universe. It cannot be seen directly, cannot be detected also directly by light and other things. The only way how we can detect it is because it is a type of matter. It has mass, and because it has mass, it will also be manifesting gravity. So the only way of observing it is through gravitational pull of galaxies. So we can observe how the gravity behaves in around, in the universe, and how the gravity around the dark matter may behave. Through that, we may be able to discover where these dark matter may be located. Remember, this particular study was not typically meant for discovering dark matter. We have not yet discovered that, right? Dark matter is still a mystery to science. It is believed to be made up of some hypothetical particle, like what I said, because we have only been able to prove its existence mathematically. We have not been able to find its real evidence. I hope all of you guys are able to understand. There are a lot of particles which are somewhat associated with dark matter, such as neutrons, axions, different particles are there. But we still do not know much about dark matter. So guys, in this particular discussion, I don't expect you to write anything about dark matter. Just remember what is FRBs, right? There are a lot many more discussions on space, because space itself is a very widespread topic. I can talk about dark matter even in depth, but this is not the time, because when there is a news related to dark matter that will come up, I'll surely be talking about dark matter more, right? So now next is the new blood group, the Gwada negative blood group. So guys, this is basically a completely new blood group system that has been discovered in France. And guys, it is also a blood group system that has also been accepted by the International Society of Blood Transfusion, ISBT, right, as ISBT 042, 42nd blood group basically. Only a woman, there is only one person on earth which has been discovered to be to have this blood group as of now. So guys, normally when we talk about blood groups, we normally have blood groups which are A, B or O, right? Somebody has A, somebody has B, somebody has AB or O. These are the possible 4 blood groups that we have. But it's not like this is the only blood group. Even in India, there is a very rare blood group found called Bombay blood group, right? So basically what happens, the blood groups, how these blood groups get their nature, and how we come down to find out that what is A, what is B, what is O, it's mainly because of the antigens against which the blood responds, or the antigens against which your body responds. So guys, in the process of creating the proteins that your blood may contain, that will decide what kind of blood group you have. So it's not a compulsion that humans can only have A, B, O or AB. We have discovered a lot of different types of mutations in the genes where it can change the type of blood group of a person. Even in India, Bombay blood group, like I said, it is a different kind of a blood group, but that does not fit into A, B or O category. So it's a different types of blood proteins, different types of blood strains that may be possible. A new blood strain that has been discovered, it is found in just a single woman as of now. She is the only person that is known to have this type of blood. And it is called a negative blood group because this blood group basically is having an absence of the antigen. This is also nothing but a protein, antigen, this is basically an antigen which the presence of this particular antigen basically gives the, so the negative and positive basically we get it with the, not, it is not in terms of the electrical conductivity of the blood, it is in terms of the presence and absence of an antigen. So if there is a person who have the EMM antigen which is found on the red surface of the red blood cells, then that person will be given a positive blood group notification. But if a person does not have that EMM antigen on the surface of the red blood cell, then that person may be called negative. Like we have something called RH protein. So the person who has an RH protein layer on the surface of the blood, we call it RH positive, A positive, B positive. And the person who does not have the RH protein, we call it A negative, B negative, right? So that's how the negative here is used for EMM antigen, which is another type of a protein, right? And this is not, this EMM antigen is normally found on the red blood cells, like I said, and it is considered to be high incidence antigen. So this is normally found very commonly in the red blood cells, but because this lady does not have that particular protein, because of this she is being given a negative term. So she is called the Gwada negative blood group. So if there is a person who has this particular antigen on the red blood cells, may be called Gwada positive, right? It is a high incidence antigen present nearly in all humans, EMM antigen. And it is the 48th blood group, sorry, not 42nd, 48th blood group system in the world, right? So 48th blood group system in the world, and now has been accepted as a separate blood group. I hope all of you understand. And now guys, the last topic of our discussion, it is Lenacapavir. Now Lenacapavir, it is basically a new US FDA approved medicine, an injectable medicine that has to be taken twice yearly, that has to be taken every 2 years. And this particular medicine can be an effective way of preventing HIV related infections. It can prevent HIV related infections. So guys, let me tell you what is the concept of HIV and AIDS. Guys, AIDS, it's called acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. AIDS actually is a disease. HIV is a condition that grows into AIDS, that develops into AIDS. So if somebody has been diagnosed with HIV positive, that means they have the HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, and the virus has started infecting the body. But it's not like the moment a person is diagnosed with HIV positive, he is diagnosed with AIDS straight away. No, it takes some time for HIV virus to mutate, to multiply, not mutate to, but to multiply, to infect, and then eventually damage the entire immune system, and that's when a person develops AIDS. So this is basically the condition. Sometimes it takes 2 years, sometimes it may take 5 years, depending on the kind of lifestyle the person takes. Of course, a person diagnosed with HIV positive is technically not allowed to donate blood anymore, because the blood contains the HIV virus, right? I hope you all understand. You all also know the various ways through which this HIV virus may be transfused, right, or may be transmitted from one person to another, right? So what exactly is this? So Lenacapavir is an antiretroviral for HIV prevention. Guys, basically this HIV virus is a retrovirus. Retroviruses are basically RNA based viruses. These are viruses that contains ribonucleic acid, which is basically the genetic material of the virus. It is an RNA contained virus and also famously called retrovirus, and this particular medicine is a antiretrovirus medicine, which basically does not allow this virus to multiply. It basically becomes an hindrance for this virus in spreading from one cell to another. It is used as a pre-exposure prophylaxis in high risk HIV negative people. So those people who are in a job where there is a chance that they may acquire HIV, they may become HIV positive, it can be used as a pre-exposure therapy. That means before they get exposed to the HIV virus, then they can take this particular medicine. It can prevent the HIV virus to spread, especially among those people who are having a high chance of developing HIV negative. You guys understand, people who are involved into basically in India we have got a social evil of sex workers and such. These people are at a higher risk of developing HIV. The mechanism is basically it blocks the HIV replication. So it's an antiretroviral. It blocks the HIV virus from replicating, from multiplying, and that basically develops a kind of a basically develops a kind of a immunity where it stops the HIV from multiplying. I hope you understand. So basically how a virus multiplies, the virus normally when it enters into the cell, it uses the natural mechanism of the cell itself to infect and then spread out to other cells. But if the natural mechanism itself stops the virus's own RNA to multiply, to replicate, then the virus cannot further spread. So this is basically the mechanism that the Lenacapavir also uses. The US FDA has approved it, but WHO is still, it is pending, right? So for WHO, its status is still pending, but the US FDA have approved it. And guys, it's not like this is the only therapy that is available. There are many other preventive therapies that are there. Lenacapavir is a new addition. I hope all of you understand. So there are other therapies also. Effectivity is something that can be learned later, which one is most effective. It is what is HIV? It's a chronic life-threatening condition caused by human immunodeficiency virus. It's a retrovirus. HIV weakens the immune system by destroying the T cells. The T cells are basically the cells of our body. These are basically types of white blood cells. We call them T lymphocytes, and these cells are basically responsible for activating the immune system against any kind of infection. So once the T cells gets destroyed, the immune system stops getting activated, and that basically develops into a condition of AIDS. So let's see this. HIV weakens the immune system by destroying the T cells and makes the body unable to fight even minor illnesses later on. HIV can lead to AIDS eventually when it is severely weakens the immune system. So AIDS is basically the life-threatening condition. Of course, HIV is also life-threatening because it develops into AIDS. But like I said, it depends on person to person how long will it take from HIV to grow into AIDS. I hope all of you guys have been able to understand. So this was the discussion that we were left with since the last class. So now I have finished the important topics from the date of 7th of June till 23rd of June. Next week when I'm going to meet, I'm going to cover up the current affairs of this week. But there's also one more topic that I want to discuss, that is in vivo CAR T cell therapy. But I thought that I should be giving a special time to it because CAR T cell therapy itself is very important. And what is in vivo? How does it make it different? How does it make it more better than the previous therapy? We'll see that in the next topic. So guys, this is everything in today's class, today's lecture. I hope all of you have understood the things. You can write in the comment section if you have any questions to ask. I'm reading them personally. All the best. Thank you guys.